Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Olympia. As you know, we are culturally Christian and spiritually unlimited. That's a good job. Let's do fill in the blank today. We're off to a running start. I like it. So I have the honor of lighting the Christ candle, which we know is symbolic for the Christ light that shines in every single one of us.
And please join us in prayer. We know that we are all here, open to the divine. And as we come to this sacred place, we know that the divine is within us and without. And we're open to those messages for the greatest and highest good of all beings on this planet. We release all that is on our hearts and minds and just lay them aside for a while. We breathe deep. We're filled with an awareness of all good. And we're filled with gratitude for all of the blessings that have come our way and all that are still unfolding. We're aware, alive, awake. And for this we give thanks, and so it is. Amen.
All right, let's plant some seeds of self-belief.
I believe in my courage, I believe in my strength, I believe in my abilities, I believe in my dreams, I do believe in me. Oh, I believe in my courage, I believe in my strength, I believe in my abilities, I believe in my dreams, I do believe in me. One more time. Oh, I believe in my courage, I believe in my strength, I believe in my abilities, I believe in my dreams, I do believe in me. Oh, I do believe in me.
Big birthday day.
So, okay, are there any October birthdays in the room or online? Or do we have?
Stand up.
I got mom standing up.
What?
Are the
So this is the time in our service where Lisa Petrus comes forward with our youth to provide a wonderful youth lesson. So if the youth would likewise come forward with Lisa and David, that would be perfect.
Good morning, friends. I had a retreat yesterday with the Olympia Peace Choir, so I'm feeling a little giddy and fun from all the singing we did yesterday. So if you notice the energy, that's from my Olympia Peace Choir. It's an amazing group. But this is an amazing group too. Look at all these wonderful faces here today. So glad you are here. Who wants to pick the toy today? Who wants to pick it? Go for it. You do it. Pick something in there, and we're going to ask the question, how can this bring me closer? Pop it. Can I hold it up for everybody to see what it is? How can this, so these were in their mindfulness bags that they got this summer. How can a pop-it bracelet, I don't know, have you guys seen these? Who's seen these? Some of you may not have seen these. The kids like them because they're like bubbles to pop. It's like bubble wrap that doesn't go bad, that doesn't pop and go bad, it just has pops in it. And our question is though, how can this bring us closer to God or help us to be mindful? How can this bring us closer to God and help us to be mindful? Anybody know? Grounds us?
It's satisfying.
Satisfying, it is satisfying. It's like a little fidget, right? Anything else?
Fun.
It's fun. It's fun. I missed something back there.
It reacts to what you do.
It reacts to what you do? I don't know. So, all of us breathe, right? We're all breathing. Does anybody ever feel like they've got to breathe a little slower? Like right now, even with me talking, and I have to remind myself to slow down a little bit and breathe a little slower. Every time you breathe, do we believe breathing and conscious breath brings us closer to God? Yeah, conscious breath. You guys say that with me. Say, conscious breath brings me closer to God. So if every time you popped a pop, look up here, guys. Every time you pop a pop, you take a breath. Breathe with me. One more time. It slows you down and it gets you in the now moment and allows you to be mindful. All right, so today's affirmation is, repeat after me. Where's my pop-up bracelet? There it is. I use counting to calm my thoughts and breathe. Nice. All right, I think we're good.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
God, today is great to be here. 3 of the last 5 weeks I've been in front of dental crowds, so if anybody wants to learn about phlebotomies or local anesthetic, just let me know. We will not be discussing those today, however. I just hope I can remember the script. Should we do the fill-in thing for the stage shots? No. Anyway, so we have a lot of announcements today. I want to remind you that Reverend David Robinson from CSL is running a prosperity workshop, which is actually described quite nicely on your sheet here, the Love of Money and Prosperity class. It began last week, but you can still start it. For those of you taking it, I want to remind you that next week's, this coming week's class will actually be on Sunday, not on Saturday, just so you are aware of that. Also want to remind everybody that the last Sunday of the month, Reverend Terri will be facilitating a ceremony to celebrate the 48 years at this property. So we are inviting you, if you have pictures from events here or something that you would like to include in that remembrance, you can put it on the table over there, and we're going to have a little celebration of the many years that we have been here. I looked for my paint-stained shirt when we painted the church, so I could bring that back. I just couldn't find it. I was so disappointed. I hope you're noticing the name tags are still out there, so if you have one, please take it, or somebody else will. And also October and November and December, we are still looking for people to participate in the Unity Commons lunches. So if you're interested in that, who's running that now? Is that still Kathy Evans is running that? Okay. So you can contact Kathy Evans. They're looking for teams. The OU men and the board do it all the time, so I'm in there twice a month, or I guess every month, and it's really kind of fun. You get to help people out, and it's part of our outreach, which I believe is part of who we are. Everything else is listed on here, so please take a look at the announcements. It's all on here, and you can always look if you're at home, you can go to unityolympia.org because you probably don't have one of these because they were just printed. The other thing I want to mention is, you'll recall that about a month ago, we told people that they could go into the former fellowship room and take any of the books that we had and get them for free. And I know that some of you did, and some of you didn't, and some of you went, darn. Well, here's the good news. There's also a flyer out in the foyer because of there will be a book sale on Saturday, November the 5th that will include many of the books that we gave away, and now you buy them. Because they had a chance, right? Just saying. So it is at the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation's famous Books, Brownies, and Beans in-person used book sale return. So anyway, that will be happening on 2315 Division Street Northwest on November the 5th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have forgotten everything I just said, it's all written on this, which is right out there in the foyer. And my guess for those of you online, this will probably be posted on the website. Is that true, Karen? It is posted on the website, so why did I even bother? Anyway, I guess I just like to talk. What the heck? Shall we do a fill in the blank on the Stagehouse people? Thank you, Cynthia, for being the one honest person in the room. I appreciate that. Well, anybody that can do it with me, we're going to go with it. So here we go. We acknowledge that this land and water is the traditional territory of the Stagehouse and other indigenous people. The Stagehouse people are of the...
Well, we tried. No, that was it.
That was excellent. That was fabulous. The surrounding mountains, valleys, shorelines, and waterways are imbued with their... Why am I here? Must be eye candy. Anyway, I think we're off to special music now, so we're relieved to be from...
Arlen, you may have to skip a few slides. There you go. Oh, you did great. I love this song. Does anybody, if you feel like good things are coming your way, go ahead and raise your hand.
You might want to stand.
There are several of you that are feeling that. Oh, and even Mary Ellen in the back. Good things are coming my way. Good things are coming my way. Good things are coming my way. Yeah, yeah. Good things are coming my way. Good things are coming my way. Good things are coming my way. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Dallas, and this is Linda Irick, who both of us are a part of our prayer team here at Unity of Olympia. And Linda will be available after service today for prayer, and she'll be at the side window. Our purpose with our prayer team is to promote prayer consciousness. And one of the ways we do that is by honoring your prayer requests that you put in the prayer box every week and praying over them and then sending them to the Unity of Olympia headquarters where they continue to pray for them for 30 days. Also, you can access prayer requests through the internet at Unity of Olympia, and one of the prayer team members will answer your prayer request and pray with you. Today's daily word is world peace. Peace creates beauty in the world. An artist creates beauty out of the spectrum of shades and hues, and the diversity of color adds to the depth of the artwork. In the same manner, the differences in the world show the possibility of splendor when combined in the right way. I envision a world in which all people are accepted exactly as they are, and I set an intention to practice and facilitate goodwill toward others. I behold the world around me and find examples of people and cultures blending and mixing in magnificent ways. The potential for peaceful interaction and coexistence are endless. Acts of kindness, honesty, and healthy communication paint pictures of harmony. As I choose non-judgment and unconditional positive regard, I create peace in the world. And from Psalm 34:14, depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. And today's affirmation is peace creates beauty in the world. If we can say that together. Peace creates beauty in the world, and so it is.
Is it time to do our statement of faith, I think? Is it coming up? Together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, all power, presence, and wisdom. It is in God that I live, move, and have my being. And so
So one announcement that I wanted to make is that we have a guest speaker today, Reverend Shouse, which some of you may know as Reverend Anna Joy Grace. So she was here with us. Many of you know this. Some of you do not know this. Some of you have never even seen or met her before. So she was with us for, about 10 or 12 years, I believe. And so she is one of our guest speakers today. So I wanted to introduce her properly so that you know who is this person. She's very dear to many of us.
Hello, everyone, and I want to give a big thanks to Reverend Terri and to all of you for inviting me to speak here with you today, even if it's just through this video. But I want you to know that Unity of Olympia has been a very important part of my life. And all of you, whether you're people that are new to me and I to you, or whether people that we have known each other for a long time and traveled miles together in this ministry, that you all matter to me a great deal. So what a delight to be here and be able to share with you today. And I know that you have just made a big decision here as a congregation, that you have decided to release this building and to move on and to do this ministry called Unity of Olympia in a new context. And that can be scary. You may or may not know at this point exactly how that's going to look. And at any rate, whether you do or you don't, it'll be new. And so I want to share with you today about faith, because faith is that Christ power that we have that moves us into the releasing of what has served its purpose in our lives and moves us into birthing what's new. So with that, let's take a moment as we begin to center ourselves into that inner Christ presence, to that I am presence, that power of God within us. And because we know that's the true teacher. So take a moment, would you, to pray with me. So thank you, God, that you are indeed that presence and power within us, that you are that life and light, that you are the true teacher. And so we tune in to hear what you have to say to each of us from within. And so it is, in the name and through the power of our brother and way shower, Jesus Christ, and the Christ in us. Amen. And so with that, I'm now going to ask you to join me in an affirmation of faith. And so I will affirm it piece by piece. There are 3 parts to it, and then invite you to affirm it with me after each part. So here we go. I have faith in God. Together. I have faith in God. I have faith in spirit. Together. I have faith in spirit. I have faith in God's good yet unseen. And affirm that with me. I have faith in God's good yet unseen. Now let's affirm the whole statement together. I have faith in God. I have faith in spirit. I have faith in God's good yet unseen. All right, I have a story for you. There was a family, a multi-generational family, that was having dinner one evening, and they were having corn on the cob. And the little 5-year-old girl, Rachel, had evidently never had corn on the cob before, and she was having some trouble figuring out how to eat it. So her grandmother looked at her and she said, Rachel, it looks like you're having a little trouble there eating that corn. She said, Rachel, just eat it like a typewriter. And little 5-year-old Rachel looked at her grandmother in all innocence and said, Grandmother, what's a typewriter? Times change, don't they? Technology changes. Outer forms change. That's the nature of this material world, is we create forms through the power of our mind, through the power of spirit expressing through us. They serve their purpose in our lives. And then it's time to let them go. That they release and they crumble and we let them go. That's how it is. And so as we move through this 3-dimensional world and we move through it, we know that what is deeper than the changing forms is the ever-living source that is spirit. And so at all times, and especially when we're going through those outer changes, what we're called to do is to deep dive down into that awareness of source, into that awareness of life. Because when we do that, it helps us to be willing to let go, because we humans, we can get pretty scared, about letting go of the forms of how it was. We know that. And so when we ground ourselves into that presence and power that is the source of life, that is spirit, one thing, we kind of get calmer. We lose some of that fear, and we're beginning to channel that life energy into what's creating next. Because death and rebirth are that cycle of life. That's the cycle of spirit. That's how it works. That's how God's world works. And so what is that Christ power that really helps us to tune into that depth of life? It is our Christ power of faith. Faith is the ability to perceive God's presence in whatever circumstances there are. And from that place of perceiving God's presence is to shape divine substance into what's next, is to birth what's coming next. And that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to always be growing and expanding spiritually, to be continually participating with God in creating. So for that power of faith to become effective, we've got to learn and train ourselves, in a sense, to educate ourselves, to practice about how to let go of the emotional reactivity that we have to the changing of forms, so that we can move more fully and more deeply into that place of spirit. One of our spiritual qualities and abilities is the ability to choose. And so we get to choose, no matter what's happening in our world, is to look deeper. You know, we're human beings and we react. I sure do. You know, maybe we're out there on the highway and we're like, some people are going too slow and some people are going too fast and some people aren't using their turn signals and we get irritated. Or maybe we go to the grocery store and they're out of our favorite kind of cereal and we have a reaction to that. That's okay. Hello, human. We do that. That's the way it is. Probably we did it yesterday or probably today. I did. The way it is. The thing spiritually, though, is to notice it and just don't hang on to it. Don't park there in that emotional reactivity. Be willing to see things through God's eyes, to go deeper, to see that, okay, I don't have to like what's going on the surface, and yet I can see it more deeply. And I can perceive that God is in the midst of this, and I can calm down. That's using my power of faith, and I can go on to have a peaceful day, a peaceful mind, and a harmonious life. I want to share with you a scripture that talks a lot about perceiving that presence and that power that is God, and about how that works, about how it is that we can let go of the dust that fear throws in front of us that keeps us from seeing the presence and power of God, and see actually that the presence and power of God is with us in whatever situations there are. So this is a scripture about the prophet Elisha. This is from the Hebrew scriptures, from the book of 2 Kings in chapter 6. And it's about the prophet Elisha and about the chariots of fire. So let me set this story up for you. The story is that there was a war going on between the king of Aram and the king of Israel. And so the king of Aram thought that he was being pretty slick here, and he was setting up all these ambush points so that the Israelite army would fall into them. Except that it wasn't working. It was like every time he'd set up an ambush point and he was waiting, you know, for the Israelite army to show up so he could pounce on them, they didn't show up. So he was getting the point here that somebody was giving the intel to the king of Israel. And he figured there's a spy here somewhere. And he thought maybe it was within his own ranks. Perhaps it was in his own officers. And he was going to find out who the snitch was. So this is in, again, 2 Kings chapter 6, starting with verse 11. The mind of the king of Aram was greatly perturbed because of this, because his ambushes weren't working. And so he called his officers and he said to them, "Now tell me who among us sides with the king of Israel." So he's basically saying, all right, which one of you's the snitch? And then one of his officers said, "Oh, no one, my lord king. It's Elisha. Elisha is the snitch. Elisha, the prophet in Israel, who tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedchamber." Now, we don't know how Elisha knew what the movements of the king of Aram were going to be, but somehow he did know, and he was informing the king of Israel about don't fall into the setup here. So then the king of Aram said, "Well, all right, well, go and find where he is, and I will send and seize him," because he was mad. He was going to capture Elisha and do him in. So the king of Aram was told, "Elisha is in Dothan." So the king sent horses and chariots there and a great army, and they came by night and they surrounded the city. So I want you to get that image. I mean, here is this city. Here's Elisha and his servant and all the people that lived in the city. There they are. And at night, this great king of Aram comes with all of his soldiers and all of his chariots and all of his horses and all of their weapons and all of that. And they completely surround the city because he's not going to let Elisha escape. He's going to get him. So then in the morning, something happened. When an attendant of the man of God, meaning Elisha, rose early in the morning and went out, an army with horses and chariots were all around the city. So he saw him. He saw what the king of Aram had sent. And so his servant, the servant of Elisha, said, "Alas, master, what shall we do?" I mean, can you imagine that? This guy must have been freaking out. He must have been like, this is not good. This is bad news. They've come to get us. We are doomed. We are done. And then Elisha replied something quite interesting. He said, "Do not be afraid, for there are more with us than there are with them." I want you to hear that again. Elisha replied to the servant's fears. He says, "Do not fear, because there are more with us than there are with them." Well, if I was his servant, I would have thought, this guy's nuts. There's nobody here, just us and the other people that live in this city. And there's that guy with all of his army. This is, I don't know, this is crazy. So then Elisha prayed to God, and Elisha said this, "Oh Lord, please open his eyes that he might see." So the Lord opened the eyes of the servant, and he saw, and here's what he saw. He saw spiritual forces. He saw the mountain that they were on was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. So when God opened that servant's eyes, he saw what Elisha saw and what Elisha knew, and that was the mountain, the high exaltation, the high consciousness, which perceived the horses, which are power, spiritual power was there, and the chariots of fire, which are spiritual energies. And indeed, there were many more, much more spiritual force with Elisha and the servant and with the people of that town than there were with that human army. And the story goes on to say, basically, Elisha and God kind of hatched this plot, and they captured the soldiers. And then you know what Elisha did? He didn't kill them. He fed them, and he sent them back home. He sent them back to their king. That's a powerful story, because what it's telling us is that when we do open our eyes, when we're willing to perceive in whatever situation, I mean, no matter how bad it is, no matter if you think, man, I am done, I am doomed, it's over. If you will simply open your eyes to the possibility that God is greater than whatever is concerning you, you will find indeed that that spiritual power is guiding you, is helping you, is opening the next right door for you. It may not happen in a snap of the fingers, or it may, but it will happen, because that's the deep reality, is the presence and power of God is greater than anything that's happening in the material world. That's the truth of God's presence. And it's our power of faith that opens us to that, our ability to perceive the presence of God, coupled with the ability to bring that presence of God into form, so that we are able to move forward with great love, with great abundance, and with great harmony. So I want to share with you now a few practical ways that we can do that we can open up our eyes and see the presence and power of God in our lives. We can use that power of faith. And the first way is this. You know, sometimes we see things that we think in our own lives that we think, well, that's ugly, and we just want to get rid of it, or we want to crush it or smush it or throw it out or whatever. That's ugly. Maybe something we think about ourselves, or something we think about the world or other people, or whatever it is. But let me give you an opportunity to think about that differently, to think about that whatever might seem ugly, when you look through God's eyes, is actually beautiful. And then here's an example. Do you know what a roly-poly is? When we were kids, we used to play with those things. They look like creepy little bugs. They look like they've got little armor plates on them, and they actually do, because they're not bugs. They roll up in a ball. That's why you call them roly-polies, if you kind of poke them a little bit. But they're actually crustaceans. They're land crustaceans. And they aren't very pretty, I admit. But they're wonderful. They're incredible animals. What they do is they clean the soil. They are in the dirt, and they clean out the heavy metals out of the soil. So they're absolutely essential to the ecosystem. They're essential to life, with us, with everything, with the plants, with the other animals, with everything. So roly-polies may not look very pretty, but actually they're absolutely beautiful and absolutely essential to life. So don't squash them, okay? The question is, what's your roly-poly? What is it in your life that you think is ugly about you, about other people, about life? Look a little deeper. You don't have to like it. You don't have to think it's pretty. But you do need to find the beauty in it. You need to find the gift in it. You need to find, how is it that this thing that seems to me to be so awkward and ugly and that really has a gift for me? What am I learning? What can I learn, and how can I grow? How is it clearing out my life? How is it helping me let go of things, ideas, attitudes, behaviors that I don't need? How is it that I'm seeing something that I'm ready to release? So whatever may seem ugly on the surface, look deeper and find its beauty. Another thing that we sometimes do is that we think that, oh, my life's broken, or the world's broken, or my family's life is broken, or my friend's life is broken. No good, done for, over. Not true. You know, in Japan, there's an art that when a piece of pottery is broken, that they take lacquer and they mix it with dust of gold or platinum or silver, and they use that lacquer to put that pottery back together. And it's beautiful. It looks very different, but it's got those beautiful gold or silver or platinum striations in it where it was put back together. And the pot is even more beautiful because you see the history of that pottery in that repaired pot, because it's been repaired with gold or silver or platinum, a precious metal. That's the same thing in our lives. Whatever it is in our life or in our world that we think, well, that's broken, repair it. Find the presence of God in the midst of yourself, in the midst of the world. Find that and repair it with gold, platinum, and silver. And you will find that those places that you thought were just no good, that your life was broken, that really you've become stronger. That through the experience that you went through that seemed like it broke you, what it did when you took the time to learn from it, to grow from it, to take the wisdom and the love from it, that you've become a stronger person. Your consciousness of the Christ presence has expanded, and your ability to be of service has expanded. You know, there's an old saying that says our wounds become our issues, and our issues become our healings, and our healings become our ability to be of service. And so when we put ourselves back together with that gold of God, what happens is that we are a great gift to ourselves. Our lives are richer, and we are of service to other people. And finally, something that we often do too is we think when we're making a change, maybe you're feeling that way now in the church as you're making this change, I don't know. But when we're making a change, it may feel like our life's a void. It may feel like we're empty. It may feel like, what's next? I don't know. I feel afraid. It feels just like a big meaningless void. But the truth is that even when something appears to be a void or appears to be empty or appears to be meaningless, that really, when you look deeper, when you look with the eyes of faith, there's a great richness there, which is ready to come forth and create a beautiful new pattern and a beautiful new picture through you, through your life. And I saw this illustrated beautifully once when I watched a video of a Native American artist doing beadwork. And the video began with this great expanse of cloth, of material, and it just was this empty void. And it was hard to believe that this was really going to turn into a beautiful garment. But I watched that video, and this incredible artist, as she would pick up the beads on her needle and thread them into that fabric and just working away at it. And pretty soon, what she began to see was that a gorgeous motif of a beautiful flower and a beautiful leaf was beginning to emerge. And you could just begin to see and to imagine how that was going to begin to fill up that cloth and fill up a beautiful garment. And what had seemed so empty was actually full because the hands of the master artist were at work creating that beautiful, beautiful pattern, that beautiful image of the beadwork. And that's the truth about us. Even if it feels like there's a void, feels like there's nothing there, that its life is meaningless, because we're wandering around. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We don't know. But when we let that presence and power of God be real for us, we find that that master artist creates an amazing, amazing and new, beautiful picture through us into our lives. The power of faith is the ability to perceive God in the midst of everything. So my encouragement for each of you as individuals and to myself is to keep seeing that presence and power of God no matter what's going on, pleasant, unpleasant, easy, hard, whatever it is. Perceive that presence of God and bring forth that good in our lives. See what's beautiful in what appears to be ugly. See what's rich and full in what appears to be meaningless. See what's the beautiful history of our lives in what appeared to be completely broken. So as we close, I invite you to affirm with me what we started with. So let's affirm it together. I have faith in God. I have faith in spirit. I have faith in God's good, yet unseen. And with that awareness of faith, friends, let's move now into a time of prayer and meditation. So I invite you to begin to relax, to begin to notice your breath as it comes in and goes out, to allow your breath to be a gentle touchstone for your mind, to allow yourself to gently bring your awareness to your breath as you feel yourself relaxing. If it's helpful to you, you can close your eyes and begin to be aware of that presence of God, that presence of good, that presence of peace that's always within you. Be aware of that life and light in the crown of your head, that relaxation, and allow the relaxation to move through your face, through your neck and shoulders, and through your arms and hands. Allow relaxation to move through the trunk of your body, through your legs and feet. Be aware of the beating of your heart, beating in that rhythm of love and life that's who you are. And allow that love and that light to shine all the way through you from the crown of your head, all the way through your face and neck and shoulders and arms and hands, feeling that light and that love as it moves all the way through the trunk of your body, through your legs and all the way through your feet, even to the bottom of your feet, to the heels of your feet. And you feel yourself enveloped and filled with the presence of the Christ. And share this prayer with me. Sweet Spirit, I'm open and receptive to seeing your presence and power in my life. I am in that state of consciousness where the great I am is my reality, your presence in my life. I perceive the spiritual powers holding me up, strengthening me, guiding me, reassuring me, protecting me. I perceive those amazing chariots of fire, the spiritual energies that energize me, that move me forward in a powerful and yet gentle way. I'm filled with your energy, God, for it is the very energy of my life. And into this awareness now, I bring anything that may be of concern to me right now. Any place that fears throwing dust in my eyes, any place where I'm working to grow or to make a change, or where I'm looking for a healing, mind, body, or soul. Whatever it is, I let you bring it to mind to me right now, God, and I place it in this mountain of exaltation. I place it amongst the spiritual energies and the spiritual powers. And I feel myself being transformed. We take a moment now in the quiet. And so we give thanks for our Christ power of faith. We give thanks for that physical and etheric location there in the center of our brain. And we feel that place of faith filled with light, abundant energy, and that radiant faith touches every part of our being, mind, body, and soul. For our faith, we are grateful. And now, before we close this time of prayer, I invite you to bring to mind any person or situation that you would like to lift up into this light of faith, into this prayer energy. And you can speak their name quietly or aloud. And so it is. We give thanks in the name and through the nature of our brother and way shower, Jesus the Christ, and the Christ that shines as us. Amen. And now, friends, very easily and gently and slowly begin to move back into a waking awareness. Be aware of your feet on the floor, your hands. You might stretch a bit, bring your awareness up behind your eyes, and be fully present and awake. Thank you again, friends, for inviting me this time with you. Know that you are in my prayers, seeing you flourishing as you go forth into your new good. God bless you.
We invite you to sing with us.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
So I'm looking around the room and I think I recognize everybody, but just on the off chance, is it possible that there is a newcomer or a relatively new person here today? I think we're all veterans, are we not? I think we are, yeah. Well, just want to call the ushers forward at this time then, and as you all know, there are many ways to give to Unity of Olympia. Those of you at home can give online. You can give, my favorite, the automatic giving program. You can use Venmo now. That's kind of cool for those of you who understand it. Both of you. I think two people in the room I'm looking at understand how it works. Yeah, I know, Marianne, you understand. She's the queen of Venmo. However it is that you give, take that offering into your hand, your heart, and your mind, and let us bless it together with divine love. Please join me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Open to the sacred richness of our infinite source, we as Unity of Olympia joyfully co-create unlimited prosperity right now. Thank you, God.
Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful for every little thing. Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful. Grateful for just what this day will bring. And it's an honor to give so freely. It's an honor to give with love. 'Cause today we're grateful. Today we're grateful. Today we're grateful for every little thing. Today we're grateful. Today we're grateful. Grateful for just what this day will bring. Forever grateful for just what this day will bring.
So if the ushers would come forward, I'm not going to stand at the mic. I think you can hear me, right? So while Mary Ellen and I were in Michigan about 3 weeks ago, we attended Unity of Lansing, and they had a phrase that I rather liked. When they did their offering, they called it the circle of generosity, which I thought was just a beautiful phrase. So today, as we bless our conscious contributions, we're going to celebrate that circle of generosity. I like that so much. We are so grateful for our generosity and our abundance. We recognize that these are gifts of the heart in addition to gifts of money. It is our gratitude going forward into the world to do good for our church, for others, for the world. The generosity that we experience is one of the great gifts that we as Unity of Olympia celebrate all the time. And for this gift and all gifts, we say, thank you, God. Join me, please.
Thank you, God.
So it is. I want to reemphasize that on the final Sunday, Reverend Terri will be here, so if you have memories, pictures, anything that you would like to bring to that celebration, please don't forget to bring it, and we will have that celebration with Reverend Terri back with us. I also need to amend one of my announcements. I was informed halfway through the service that the prosperity class has been canceled. So
Really?
it has been canceled. Is that correct, Karen? Okay, it has been canceled. So after the service, Linda Eyrich will be available over by the open window to pray with you for our individual prayer. So please feel free to join her after the service. The flowers today were provided by the amazing, multi-talented, and ever-present Terri for the flowers. And let's see who's going to get them today. Here we go. Let me get my map out. Gotta have my map. Oh, here we go. I love this. All right, let's see. Well, it looks like my friend Aaron in the back gets the flowers today. Way to go, Aaron. And this does not look like a vase that you need to return. You can check with Terri Lonsbury about that. So on that note, I believe it's time for the prayer of protection. So if you would stand and join me for that, that would be great.
The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And so those of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. Wave to everybody home. We know you're there. We can't see you, but
Have
we
a
know you're
great
there.
week.
And we hope you were filling in the blanks like everybody was here. So we'll see you next week.